Hey guys, before we start this video, I want to say thank you to all the members of the YouTube channel. If you guys are interested in joining the membership program, blue join button next to the subscribe button, as well as the link down in the comments section below. But recently, guys, I got an email from a viewer of the YouTube channel, Steve. Now, Steve did a lot of work of compiling a lot of different stats that I will put somewhere here in the video. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate all of your work. And basically, the point of the email from Steve was to talk about the Buccaneers versus Saints divisional round matchup and say that both these teams are very different from the last time they played each other. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. Can the Buccaneers find redemption, essentially, versus the Saints in the divisional round of the match, or in the divisional round of the playoffs? I almost said the divisional round of the matchup. It's the divisional round of the playoffs. So, first thing I want to talk about is the first mindset of fans, which is completely understandable. And that mindset is, holy crap, we got to play the Saints. Well, it's been fun, but the Buccaneers playoff run is pretty much over. And I completely understand why some fans have that mindset, because recent memory and recent trends are not favoring this matchup right now. In week one, the Buccaneers got beaten pretty bad by the Saints. It was a game where the Buccaneers just looked completely out of sync from top to bottom, from coaching staff to player execution. Nothing seemed to go the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' way. But a lot of fans thought, okay, that was week one. Now, later on in the season, it's a couple of months in, ahead of the season. This is a different Buccaneers team than what was against that Saints team in week one. Let's see what happens in their second meetup. And things got worse, and the Buccaneers lost by way more, and they were outclassed way more. In my opinion, I feel that that was more on the coaching staff than anything, but still, the point is to be made that the Buccaneers got beat again, and they got beat worse, and they got outclassed even more so than the first time the Buccaneers played the Saints in the regular season. So right now, it seems like things are trending downward, right? Like, things are not going great in terms of the Buccaneers versus Saints recent matchups. The Buccaneers just seem to not have an answer for this team. It seems like the Saints players are in the heads of the Buccaneers players and all these other different types of things going on that just, prevent the Buccaneers from being able to beat the Saints. It's like this unkillable giant, basically, that is just standing in the Buccaneers' way and preventing them from, winning a football game against this team. But while I do understand that mindset, and while I completely, understand, basically, that mindset of doom and gloom and saying, well, it's been fun, but this playoff run is over, I do completely understand the optimistic side of it as well. The side like Steve, people like Steve who are saying, yes, the Buccaneers lost the first time they played, and yes, they lost even worse the second time they played, but third time's the charm, right? I mean, a lot of people have been saying in the comments section, besides the doom and gloom, have been saying, look, it's very hard for a team to beat another team 3 times in a row in one season. First off, opportunities like that very rarely come up. And second off, it very rarely happens where a team is beaten 3 times in a row by the same team. So I do understand that, yes, these are two very different teams from the last time the Buccaneers played the Saints in November. A lot has changed in terms of chemistry and offensive momentum and all these other different types of things. Now, the Buccaneers did lose a little bit of that momentum, in my opinion, from that Washington football game, but the last couple of weeks of the regular season, Tom Brady was playing like peak Tom Brady, as if he was, in his early 30s again. He looked phenomenal to finish out the regular season. Antonio Brown has been getting things going. By the way, I've seen a lot of Saints fans admit their worries about playing Antonio Brown in this game. Mike Evans is coming off of a very solid game, as well as finishing off his regular season. Chris Godwin, while he didn't have the best game against the Washington football team, he still put up a pretty decent stat line, minus a couple of drops. So, in terms of chemistry building and all these other different types of things, the weapons in Tom Brady seem to be more in key. The offensive line especially looks a lot different than the last time the Buccaneers played the Saints. They went on a streak of incredible play, culminating last week versus the Washington football team, where they played lights out, in my opinion, against what is, in my opinion, one of the better defensive lines in the entire NFL. The Buccaneers offensive line held up in absolute great fashion. Now, Alex Kappa, unfortunately, will not be able to play in this game, which sucks a lot, by the way, but the guys who have needed to step up have been able to step up, guys like Donovan Smith especially. And I've always told you guys my expectations about Donovan Smith, but with Rob Gronkowski right next to him, helping him, which is huge, by the way, is very important for matchups like this, for games like this. And it's going to be important because protecting Tom Brady, limiting those turnovers from this Buccaneers offense, in my opinion, is one of the most important aspects of winning this game. In both those games, we saw a lot of turnovers from the Buccaneers offense and interceptions and fumbles, and you name it, the Buccaneers were committing it in terms of turnovers. And that's going to be the key. If the offense doesn't turn over the ball, and the defense improves a lot and plays physical and looks at the blueprint at what the Chicago Bears just did in round number 1 in terms of being able to contain those Saints on offense by playing physical and being aggressive, that's, a couple of the ways that you attack this Saints team is by not turning the ball over and just playing physical, aggressive defense. That's how you do it. So that's going to be interesting. And can the Buccaneers get redemption? I don't know yet, but you know darn well that this coaching staff and these players are looking to get that redemption. The leadership from Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, maybe a little bit of Antonio Brown in that wide receiver locker room. He has obviously been there the longest in the NFL. He knows what it's like to play in the playoffs. LeSean McCoy, even guys on the defense like Levante David, Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq, Barrett, even Steve McClendon too. I mean, I think he is a very good locker room leader on defense. Those are the guys who need to step up and say, look, listen, this Saints team, they like getting in the head of their opposing teams. They do it all the time. That's very good that they are able to do that. That is a great advantage for the Saints to have in terms of competitiveness. This is where you tone all of that out, right? Like, this is where these Bucs players who have had problems with Saints players in the past just shut that out, take a deep breath, and play playoff football. Because if you lose, there's no fourth chance. You go home and you're done with the playoff run. And I would hope that the leadership of the guys who are currently in that locker room and in that coaching staff would not allow an embarrassing loss to happen again. I think the Buccaneers are going to be a lot more competitive than the first time they played the Saints, and I think a whole heck of a lot more competitive than the second time the Buccaneers played the Saints. I'm going to be leaning on more of the optimistic side. We have to, right? We absolutely have to. So, while I completely understand the mindset of saying, well, pack it up, boys. It was fun. We got the bad ending. We're playing the Saints. This team is impossible to beat. They're not impossible to beat. Any team can beat any team in the NFL. The Jets beat the freaking Browns and Rams to finish off their regular season, and both those teams just won a wild card round matchup. Any team can beat any team in the NFL. That's an important thing to remember. So, well, I'm sure there will be a lot of Saints fans commenting on this video, by the way, and, that's fine. That is what it is. I have no problems with that. They're supporting their team, much like how the Bucs fans are supporting their team. I'm optimistic going into this game, and I think the Buccaneers will play a lot better. I think the leadership will come through, and I really do think the Buccaneers have a chance of winning this game, and they will be a whole heck of a lot more competitive than they have been in recent matchups versus the Saints. They have to be, right? These players understand that there is no fourth chance. If they don't get redemption now, that's it. And that's it for their season, and that's it for their Super Bowl run, and all these guys who have been striving to win this Super Bowl, it's game over at that point. So, yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts, guys, on both sides of that argument. I understand the pessimism, and I understand by saying doom and gloom, but I'm going to lean more on the side of the optimism. I'm going to lean more on the side of saying, you know what? Let's see what this team can do, because it's way different than the last time these two teams played each other. Guys are more comfortable. Guys are on hot streaks. Guys got momentum in their favor. And let's see what happens. That's what I'm leaning more towards, and that's what I think is going to give the Buccaneers the best chance here to win this game. So with that being said, guys, give me your thoughts about everything that I just mentioned down in the comments section below. What are your thoughts on the Buccaneers playing the Saints? Do you feel that they can get redemption, or do you feel the way of saying, look, this team has given us nothing in the way of believing that they have a chance of beating the Saints in the divisional round matchup? While that is accurate, I do think, while that is semi-accurate in terms of matchups versus the Saints, I think the evidence falls more in line with how they've been playing in recent weeks versus other teams and how they have been playing in the playoffs. I mean, they're playing to win, they're fighting with all their heart, and fingers crossed, and optimism, you know, ahoy, optimism ahead, that they can put up a way better showing versus the Saints than what they have in recent matchups, and I think they will. And I think they have a chance to win this football game, and I think they can win this football game. So that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.